Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Appendix A adventures. I think this is now up to episode 11 now. The last episode was spent going up and down stairs, up and down ladders. There were chutes, all sorts of things going on. Thingle's probably saying to Greenface, this dungeon is a bit over-engineered. I have not really in all my adventuring career, I have not really come across anything quite as strange as this. Not too much opposition, Greenface, but quite a bit of contortion of corridors and strange happenings. Appendix A, what an amazing thing. So Greenface is probably just agreeing. We are in a position now where we have on my map, I left you on a bit of a cliffhanger because we had approached this trap, and this had come up in the Appendix A under traps. So if I just get to the relevant page, on the trap page, we had item 20, shoot down one level, cannot be ascended in any manner. So I've been having a bit of a think about this, and I think the best way to play this is with a straight bat and just say it is a trap. And what can we do to counter this? So we know that Thingle's got his 10-foot pole. As we approach this trap, Thingle's got his 10-foot pull out, so he's doing his tap, tap, tap. We've got Greenface, who is trained in anti-espionage techniques, which include, not only does he have a motto, which is, can slay anything taller, he also has a wide range of thieves' abilities that he has picked up, albeit at a couple of levels below his astounding level of 6. But he is a competent level 4 thief. And we do know that he gets a nice racial adjustment for specific categories. So if we just quickly look at our player's handbook, reconsult the thieves section, and see what a level 4 thief would get for finding and removing traps. It's a 35%, and we get this, you will recall, we get this nice racial modifier. So gnomes must be quite well attuned. In fact, across the board, apart from maybe climbing walls, which, they aren't really viewed as being very dexterous in that respect, as are dwarves. But they do get some very nice modifiers for finding and removing traps. So he has a 45% chance of finding and removing this trap. I'm going to say that as they approach here, and if we just quickly recall our time that we had on our little sheet. So we had all this to back. Remember, with all the different levels that were going up and down on that ladder that we discovered further back here on this trapdoor, and we went off piste really, because I've got some other sheets behind here. Yes, we had to go into my homes item here, which I still haven't transposed onto a clean sheet, but it's not of significant importance just now, because we're not going to go down there, because that led to, as Greenface said, it leads to hell. Level 7, I think we were. That is well beyond even our competent level characters just now. Potentially, if we had a party of say 4 or 5 level, say on average level 5 characters, we could probably take on a challenge like that. But I think with only 2 high level characters, I think a level 7 escapade is probably just a bit even beyond their abilities. It just takes one bad encounter and we could be in a lot of trouble. But I've slightly digressed. We have only used up 3 turns, since we have returned to this dungeon. So I'm going to say that we will spend another 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 rounds mapping up to here. And we approach this trap. So we've already worked out that Greenface, if he is looking for traps as we approach, he needs a 45% chance to detect this trap. So I will get my 10-sided and my my percentage dice, and we need a 45% chance to detect this. So come on, Greenface, let's see whether it paid off all this hard tuition you did in Thieves Guild. 86. So you do not detect. As an outlier, I am going to say that because potentially Thingol has got maybe some, and he's very good on concealed doors and secret doors. And you know, if it was, you know, in this instance, he managed to find this trapdoor quite effectively because he is good at that. I'm going to give him, because he is a half elf and he is careful, he's got his new invention, his adjustable 10-foot pole. He is using that quite diligently, or diligently over as Thingol can ever get. I'm going to give him a small chance of being able to detect this trap. And if he had it, he does actually have a magic spell, which is, I think that's his clerical spell. If I can find, yes, his clerical spell is find traps, but he really has to be wanting to deploy that. And you say he's suspicious of an area, and he'd have to use that find traps. I don't think he's in that. He hasn't got that precognition here. He's really just doing it as a standard corridor. That's what he's doing. I'm going to give him probably a 1 in 6 chance of finding this. So there isn't always a chance, but it's going to be a very small chance. He's really relying on the expertise of Greenface, and unfortunately Greenface has not delivered on this. So 5, no. So we are going to be shooting down one level. So I'm going to have to just work this one out. So we are here. This is where this shoot is going to be. Says there. Now that's level 1, and level 2. We'd already have level 2 mapped out to an extent, and level 2 stairs started here. So, and it was joined on to this. So if I just can do, let me see, I will actually even almost like just have that sitting over, and I can do a very rough approximation of where our thing is going to come down. So yes, I can triangulate. And if I just put a bit of an imprint there, I can see what that, yes, I can. Now this is really technical stuff here. This is almost, I don't know what you would call this. Is this almost like, in fact, I think that's terrible, that positioning. I'll just put that there. I really am mucking around. I think it comes out here. So, that is where this shoot comes out. I'll just get my little ruler. And let's say the shoot goes on for 20 feet, coming down. So basically our characters, they're walking along, Thingol's tapping away, Greenface is trying to detect traps, and he fails. He doesn't detect this trapdoor. Suddenly, below their feet, as they cross the threshold, a mechanism is deployed, and the floor collapses under their feet, and they slide down Willy Wonka style, down some sort of chute. It is probably a smooth chute, and you're probably not going to have maybe any damage at the end. I'll say that there's a small chance that they might get a bit of grazing. And say a 1 or a 2 on a d6. And I'll do a black dice for green face and a white dice for Thingle. On a 1 or a 2, they sustain some minor grazing. So green face sustains a little bit of grazing, so I'll say it's 1 to 2 points of hit points of damage. So he suffers 1 hit point of damage. So this is the first damage we have taken. And I will just make a note of green face. And green face's hit points. We get his character sheet. He's got more. Actually, got more hit points, or has he? No, he's just got 1 less than Thingle. He has got 24, so he's now down to 23. Okay, so he goes, oh, that was a bit sore. I took a bit of it was almost like a carpet burn there. Feeling a bit, I feel a bit more embarrassed than anything, Thingle. I do apologize. Usually I am on it. Obviously just not progressed up the thieves ladder enough. And Thingle said, well, my 10-foot pole didn't really pay dividends either. All is forgiven, Greenface. I have a feeling, based on how far we have descended, and maybe I will rely on your gnomic abilities, on how you can detect things like sloping passages, etc., etc. And maybe we should just consult that just now and see if there's anything relevant, because I would say that they'd probably be able to work out how far they have descended. But if there's anything that's specific on a gnome that we can, it's always a nice little joy to consult the player's handbook or any of the AD&D books and see whether they have, because usually they have a rule for everything. And where are gnomes in this? Character races. Gnomes. Yeah, detect grade or slope in passage upwards or downwards. Detect unsafe walls, ceilings, or floors. Yeah, I wonder if I could have used some of these things. Determine approximate depth underground. Yes, so it's a 60% probability. So let's see if Greenface can really triangulate exactly how far they have descended. And they've probably got a pretty good chance, but let's say it's a 60% chance. And he can say, yes, we are on the second level. Otherwise, maybe he's a bit confused and he's not sure. So, yes, he is. He says, well, there's one thing I am certain about, Thingle. We are back down. We are on to the second level. We're probably going to need some sort of way to reconnect. And on my map, I basically try, in fact, because he was so successful there, I'm going to say that on his map, he can almost pinpoint with quite a bit of accuracy where exactly they have landed. So he'd say, on my map, I would say that we are probably about here. And we have come down this chute. So I'll do it like that. And we are now on this threshold. So I would say that we are at periodic check situation. So if I get my Dungeon Master's Guide out and get rid of some of this clutter that I have accumulated out of the way. That hasn't taken any turns, so we'll just keep our time thing inside. Just so that we're aware of it, because we will be approaching a rest period, and we'll also be approaching a wandering monster check. Yeah, we really haven't, I was trying to be, I was being probably a bit flippant with Thingle, saying, there's just been a lot of twists and turns in this, and all going up and down levels and stuff. But apart from maybe the gnolls, there hasn't really been any serious opposition yet. And also treasure, because, obviously we've got quite a bit of a debt to pay off. We've got 1,100 gold pieces of accumulated credit. And we've only really kind of maybe applied maybe to a few hundred gold pieces against that from some of our swag, some of the gnolls trophies that we got. So we could really do with a big haul to clean the slate, maybe get ourselves a couple of months credit and start working on recruitment and maybe beefing up our party a bit so that we can take on some of the things down this dungeon. But we haven't really come across any of that. So we're probably on track, hopefully, in this episode or some of the ones that are going to be following to start hitting the mother load as far as Appendix A is. So we're kind of due it, but let us, you can't wish for things to happen. You have to see if you can get it. So let us find out what we're going to get with this. So it's periodic check time. What are we going to get with the periodic check? So I've got all sorts of dice here. Do the D20. We get a 12 this time. So a 12 at the end of it. So once we've dusted ourselves down and Greenface is putting a wee bit of ointment on his grazing, we get a 12, and that is a passage turns. So passage turns, see table 4, check width on table 3, check again in 30 foot, this table. All right, so there looks as though there is a passage that turns. Table, so how does that work? Table 4. Table 4 turns. All right, so okay. So say we have, we'll do a 30 foot. I think that's probably the best way. 30 foot, and then we'll say that the passage turns. Because I do a standard like 30 feet and then a periodic check. And then we'll say that the passage turns. So if we're going to map that, we do another 3 to get up to that. Actually, we're up to 6. Passage turns. So the passage is going to turn with a D20. Let's roll on that. And we get a 9. And a 9 is left 45 degrees ahead. So left will be our right. So it's going to do one of these things where it goes a bit crazy here. So 45 degrees. And it says check another 30 feet. Is that right? Maybe I should do it. Yeah, here. Let's do it like that. You know, I hate these. When I say hate, it's a strong word. I don't like when it goes in angles. I do like my straight lines, but needs must. So unfortunately, it's heading away from this. And remember, it did say that we couldn't climb back up here. So I don't think, have we got levitate? Has he got anything like that? Has he got hold portal, sleep, invisibility, knock? No, we don't have levitate. So he can't float back up. Maybe he could have done that and he could have thrown a rope down and we could have got back up, but we can't do that. So you never know, we might come across a potion of levitation. You know, the chances. So we have this turn in the passage, 45 degrees to the left. So that we can do another 3 to map along that. And let's do that. So let's say that's another turn. Also, I think what we can do is maybe check this for a bit of atmosphere and see if there's anything that's, because we've done probably about 60 feet. So that warrants, based on my atmospherics check. So if I get my folder. And the rules that I have on atmosphere. Dungeon dressing. Atmosphere dice can be used at what is deemed an appropriate time or when entering a new area, room, or corridor. Consult the table if roll 1 to 3 on a D10. Okay, so let's roll 1 to 3 on a D10. We'll have some atmosphere. So we don't have any atmosphere. And for dungeon dressing, each time the party enters a corridor, there is a base 1 to 2 that dressing will be rolled for. This increases by +1 if the corridor is longer than 30 feet. So let's do 1 to 3. There is some dressing. So there's no dressing. So a bit Spartan again. I think I did notice that in the last episode. Not much to see here. So we're up to four turns. Up to this point, we can do another periodic check at the end of that. So let us do the business on the periodic check and see where we get. So we get a 13 this time, and a 13 on our table is passage turns. Check passage turns. Check again in 30 feet this table. So it's going to turn, and we're going to check. It's going to turn and do a 30-foot extension. So which way does it turn? Let us work that out. So it turns a 3 and a 3 on the passage turn, left 90 degrees. Okay, so that's another right to us. So this means that it should really go this way. Yeah, let's do it like that. So if I just get my rubber out and do this back here, we need to go down this way now. And it's going to be like this. I just do that. 30 feet, and this is going to be 30 feet up to here. And I'll just extend this to this point. Okay, and that shouldn't really be there, because that, just take that wee bit out and make this a bit harder so that we can see that properly. Okay, and it did say another 30 feet, so we're kind of doubling back on ourselves. You know, this is quite interesting, just the configuration that's coming before us. We'll proceed cautiously down this mapping. You know, the lantern is flickering. We're going to do another 3. Get rid of that. We're getting close to our rest period. We're probably actually starting to feel a bit tired because we have been up and down and all over the place, and I think this should have probably taken a bit out of us. You know, probably still got the ringing in our ears of the air whooshing past us. It's maybe taking its toll on us. We're probably looking forward to our rest period. What are we going to do at the end of this? We're going to have another periodic check. So what will be the result of this? Let us find out. We get an 8 this time, and an 8 on our periodic check table is a side passage. Check again. Right, so we will go ahead 30 feet, and we will have a side passage, table 3, that we can deploy immediately. So let's find out what the side passage is, and it's an 18, and the side passage is an 18. And I should really be checking for the passage width on this. I'm being a bit of a mistake, but I'll check for the passage width on this one. So it's a 4-way intersection. All right, okay. So, oh dear. I tell you what I will do is I will write it up into a 4-way intersection that almost writes it up. Yes, that's what I like to do. I'm going to do it. I am the Dungeon Master. I have absolute power here. I am going to employ my common sense override, and I'm going to do a 4-way intersection here. And this is almost off the map. And I think for this one, I'm going to allow myself to go beyond the bounds of the map. So if we do decide to go down this one and it goes off, I will continue, because I don't really have a limit to this dungeon. This is going to be like your classic first ever dungeon. It just goes on. Maybe it could go on forever. What is this? We don't really know. It hasn't really got an identity. I call it the old keep, but that could be for anything. Maybe we should develop some sort of thoughts about what this is. The fact that it's got all these different levels and whatever, it does seem to have been engineered just for some reason. So maybe that's a good thing that I could make open to the channel. If anybody's got some good ideas about what is the proprietary nature of this particular dungeon, does it have a limit? Is it give us a bit of lore. Let's have some ideas. Instead of me sending out a poll or whatever, I'll just have an open invite on it is the season of goodwill. Why not have some goodwill to our two characters and give them a bit of a raison d'etre of where they are and what they are doing down here. And the fact that they do feel a bit discombobulated with the fact that they have gone through this portal. Not only, you have to maybe sympathize with Greenface and Thingle. And, we keep on sort of joking about their kind of banter and what, but they have been wrenched from their homeland or what they view as their homeland. They've gone through this magic portal. And they haven't gone on to a different plane or a different world, but they are in a part of the world that they do not recognize at all, and they don't really know how to get home. So that must be quite disconcerting. And the fact that they don't really know the nature of this dungeon too, it might be quite a nice thing for them, a nice present for their Christmas, just to get a bit of rationale. Okay, so we've reached this four-way intersection. I'm not going to check the passage width on this because I think what we have here is probably just a continuation of this. So again, I think always with passage width, I am a bit hesitant sometimes to go for that because I just feel that when it comes to mapping and stuff, like a 5-foot passage and a 20-foot, what I could do is maybe employ it more as an option. A bit like my dressing and my atmosphere. And if I get a certain roll on a passage, say like it's a 1 in 10, I could change the width and then go to the passage width table. And I know most widths are 10 foot, but there is the option that it goes to 20, 30 or 5 foot. And I suppose there is a special passage. But yeah, maybe I'm missing a trick. Yeah, maybe I should start employing it. I tell you what, I think as a resolution, I will, going forward, whenever I come to an actual passage, I will employ this passage width, because that is something I am probably missing and as an oversight in my Appendix A adventures. Okay, so we have reached this point here. Shall I roll for some atmosphere in this region? So let's do 1 to 3. We have some atmosphere. So we don't have any atmosphere. Do we have any dressing? And we'll only have a dressing on a 1 to 2. So we do have some dressing. So what is the dressing saying to us? What will be on our dressing table? And where can we place it? So maybe that's what I should be doing. I will say that there is dressing here. Is there dressing in this corridor here? No. And is there dressing in this corridor here? No. So there's going to be some dressing here if we go down and explore it. So what will be the corridor dressing? And I will roll a d6 for that. And let's see what we get. So we've got a 5, and a 5 is miscellaneous utensils and personal items. Okay. So there is a table in Appendix, is it L? Miscellaneous utensils and personal items. 1 to 100. Let's roll on this one, see what we get. 70. 70 is the shaker. a shaker. What is a shaker doing down there? So I'll do a little key here. I'll call that 1. And I'll just put that here just for the shaker. And what I can do is I can actually update it on my overall key, which I've got here. I've got it. Where have I got it? I've got it to hand somewhere. Oh yeah, it's under here. Yeah, see that I've got all my keys here with all my stuff, and I've got these neatly written out. So what I'll do is I'll update that after this and have it as a proper keyed item. So we have our characters here. We are having to make a choice, probably maybe out the corner of Greenface's eye. He sees a little glint on the floor, and he almost like reaches out and he picks up. He goes, "What is this? Is it a shaker? You know, what is a kitchen utensil doing in this very strange dungeon?" I cannot fathom this one out, Thingle. Maybe with your vast intellect that you can maybe ponder on this. And Thingle says, "Thank you for your kind words, Greenface. I will consider this and maybe come back to you in the next episode once I've had plenty of time to consider the implications of what this shaker is." However, to hand, we have to make a decision. Which of these corridors are we going to proceed in? We don't really have too much of a choice because we can't go back up here. We really have to go forward. And I would say that this has got the chances of getting back towards this area, which we really need to find. But this would also probably take us if we can take a left. So I would say I have a strong inclination to go this way. I do not fancy, this is obviously potentially going to lead further away from our escape point. I think we should basically go north in priority with a chance of going this way. So let's say 1 to 4 will go this direction, and 5 to 6 we will go to the left. So yes, we decide to go north, and that's going to take us another three rounds to map this. We've already checked for dressing and we've checked for atmosphere. We're going to have to do another periodic check at the end of this. So let's find out what is at the end of this. And this time we get an 11. So an 11. And apart from banter, there really hasn't been very much going on in this. And I do have remember, I do have these override rules. Remember, I had this. In fact, I'll just tell you what 11 is for. It's going to be the passage turns. So that might be of interest. And remember, I did have these override rules where I could, when several empty rooms occur or exploration feels static, I can roll a d12 on this table, and I can interpret why and where it happens based on recent events. And I get these 1 to 12. So I'm not going to say we don't come across anything of interest in the next couple of periodic checks. I might deploy this and have something, at least something happen. I know it's not quite Appendix A, pure Appendix A, but I think this when I explained this, maybe I think probably about 8 episodes ago, I said that this is my way of bringing in a bit more interaction in this dungeon and have a bit more action if there are any lulls. And we don't really want lulls. We want to have plenty of activity and not just exploration all the time, but actually have something happen. But first of all, we have to do passage turns. and we can check again in 30 feet. So it's going to turn, it's going to move on 30 feet, but it's going to turn, and we're going to have to roll a d20 to see what happens. And we get 5 in this one. It's rolled off camera, but it was a 5. And the passage turns 50, number 5, left 90 degrees. Well, in this case, we can actually, oh, that's quite good. So, right, no, left. So we are going to go this way, which is the way we want to go. Right. So what I'm going to do is I will just extend that to there, and I will go this way. And it's going to go 30 feet. Okay. So that is the result of that periodic check. So it did say that we have to check again after 30 feet. So if we note this, I'm going to say we are actually up to 5 turns. We have been down this dungeon. We've been up and down. We've been around level 1. We've been now on level 2 for a couple of turns. We need a bit of a rest, so we're going to have a rest at the end of here. I think that we should probably roll to see what is beyond here. And we will do that just while they are resting. And this will give us a context if we have a wandering monster as well. So a 3 is continue straight. Check again in 60. Oh, no, it's a door. It's not a 2. It's a door. See table 2. Right. So is the door... okay, let's see, find out where the door is. So we've reached this point here. There is a door. So where is the door? And the door is a 17. And a 17 is ahead. Okay, so that's nice and clean. We have come to a natural point where we have a door. So I will put a door here. And we are waiting. And we are resting. We are spending our last, our fifth turn. It's now 6. We can get our wandering monster check. So we'll get our D10. Find out where my D10's gone. It's a 1 in 10 chance that we have a wandering monster. So it's a 10. So no, we don't have a wandering monster, so we've got away with that. So we're back to, this will be on to our next hour. We've now been down 1 hour. What are we going to do with this door? Are we going to, we've got this, I've always found this quite interesting and enticing, is random dungeon generation for solo play. Listening at doors. Use a 12-sided dice, and if a 1 is rolled, there is a monster with or without treasure. Procedure is then normal, but surprise is possible only on the monster's part. Okay. So this is a bit of a risk that we could take. You know, if we're going to listen, it's only a 1 in 20. There is a monster with or without treasure. Yeah, I don't think that's worth it. I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to force that door. Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing we're going to do. I think we will force the door, and on the basis that Greenface, Thingle's got a 16 strength, so I think he can force doors on a 1 to 3. I'm almost certain of that, but I will double check because I like to be as correct as possible. Let's just have a quick check of his strength. And the strength is right. One of the first entries you ever read in the Player's Handbook. 16 is a 1 to 3, yes. And Greenface is 1 to 2. So they're both pushing on this door. So if we go for on the basis that Greenface is the black dice and Thingle is the white, Maybe it is quite a hard door. I thought as a little bit of an innovation, what I should bring in is the chance that some of these doors are locked. Because in some of my other games, my campaigns, I've been using locked doors, and I've found that they've added quite a nice dimension. And we do have lock picking skills as being something that is required from our characters. So maybe I should employ a lock picking role as every door that we come across. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be either like a one or a 2 in 6 chance. Probably a 1 in 6 chance that the door is locked. So let's just do it for this one just now. I should really be employing it before we try to force it. But say it's a 1 in 6 that it is locked. So this one isn't. It's just very stiff. So let them have another shot, and this might actually cause some additional noise. They'll definitely not have any surprise ability if they come across a room with monsters in it. And also, I think as a penalty, I think the longer they do, because remember we were hacking down a door further when we were going down those ladders, and we had to actually hack through a door. I think there should be a wandering monster penalty if we make an awful lot of noise. So say we don't pass this time and we have to do it again, I'm going to say that there should be a wandering monster check. But let's see if we can get through this time. Yes, Greenface, he uses his phenomenal gnomic strength. The door is opened. We are through the door. That will probably take, I don't think that should take too long. Maybe just a couple of rounds to do that. We can check what is beyond the door, and we can use what is beyond the door table. We don't have to do a periodic check this time. We'll do what is beyond the door, and that is again a d20. Let's see if we can get something exciting. We get a 3, and a 3 is a door is a parallel passage, or 10 by 10 foot room if door is straight ahead. Well, you've seen it there. It is a 10 by 10 foot room we're coming into. Okay. I don't see any reason why not to follow that. So we have a little 10 by 10 foot room. This is interesting. What will be in? Will it be stuffed full of monsters? Maybe some Hydra or something secreted in. It could be a very tall room, 10 by 10. And when it comes to rooms, this is square 10 by 10. So we do have all the chances of having exits and exit locations, and most importantly, room contents. So let us check number of exits first. So we will use a d20 for that. And we get a 9. And a 9 is up to, so there's three exits. Okay. So the exit, they have to be, because they will have to be. So this is one of these ones is going to have an exit on each. My goodness, it's got a door on every one, and we could apply our little rule that we've got, our little ruling of whether these are locked. So this one on the top, 1 in 6, no. The one opposite, no, and the one to the south is locked. So I can put a little L. So what is that hiding? Maybe it's something important, or maybe not. But so we have discerned that there are 3 exits. 2 are unlocked. 1 is a locked door. Interesting. Even more interesting, what is actually inside this room? We will roll 20. Yes. That's, yeah. Is this the treasure room? It says treasure. See table. VG. Absolute treasure by itself. You know, my goodness, could this be any better? I have to move my little thing here. So we've discovered some treasure. Isn't that fantastic? So let's get back to our characters. They've managed to force the door after a couple of attempts. They're a bit worried that they've made a bit of noise. They've just missed a wandering monster check already. They don't really want to try to bring any more attention. They are confronted by this small room, this 10 by 10 foot room. There are 3 exits. One, they'd realize when they start doing a bit of searching that this one's locked, the other 2 aren't. There is some treasure in the midst. So let us actually determine exactly what this treasure is. I think this deserves a fresh post-it note. I think this is probably room 4. So I will put a 4 here. And we could check whether there's any dressing, and we can check whether there's any atmosphere as well. Let's just layer it on just now. We'll check whether there's any atmosphere first. So 1 to 3. There is atmosphere. Okay, so we've got atmosphere. So there's this room. It's only 10 by 10, but boy, is it packing stuff in. Is there any dressing in here? My goodness, there is. There is dressing too. So, oh dear. All right, okay. So I'm going to have to deploy, and treasure. So we're going to have an absolute field day on stuff in this room. Can we make it the most exciting 10 by 10 foot room ever? Let me just, what a way to finish. What a way to finish an episode. I can make this a special Christmas episode. Where have I got my notes? Here we go. So, atmosphere table. We'll roll 1d6 and find out what is the atmosphere that we are talking about. So we get a 3. So we've got air. So I'll put air. There's something about the air in here, and hopefully there is air, and it's not some vacuum. Dungeon dressing. We can roll. I think it's yes, that's just the chance. On a positive result, consult the room dressing table. Roll 1d3 times for the room and add 1 if larger size room. So there's going to be 1 to 3 items of dressing. So we've got 1. What are we going to get on our table? Now I'll just bring that so that you can see it. We've got 4 on the room dressing. We've got general. So we've got the famous general. So let's find out what our air conditions are like first. Just shelve that for a second and get to this appendix. And our air currents, because I think, oh no, it's air. Because there's air currents and there's air. So it could just be clear because that's 1 to 70. That's the standard, but let's see if there's any variation. 41, so yes, it is clear air. So again, this, I think one of my commentators said, well, actually that could be suspicious in itself. You know, clear air down at this level, pristine. Maybe it's so clear is because it's got some ventilation shafts. So maybe there is a shaft above. Maybe that's the way we should interpret it. So let us have a think about this. Let me do the general first, and then we'll come back to the clear air, because maybe there is a shaft that we could, and potentially even a staircase, not a staircase, but say ladders or rungs or something, and we could maybe go up to level 1. That could be a possibility. Maybe I should build that in as a distinct thing. The fact that we've had this clear air, you know, it's fresh air. That could be suspicious. So, or there might even be a grate in the floor that's leading to another, or potentially there's some other, apart from these doors, there's some other exit in the walls. Let's do the general stuff first on the dressing. We've got our famous general table. You know, where we get the broken arrow, that is the question. We get a 3. We almost did. We've got ashes. Right. So there are ashes on the floor. Ashes. Or potentially they might even be in a container. Should we do that? Should we do, say, a 1 and 6? They are in a container, like an urn. And these could be like sacred ashes of some I don't know, hero or magic user or something, or a lich. So they are just strewn on the floor. There's ashes all over the floor. Okay, so that's quite atmospheric. We've got this clear air. Let's come back to that and say, well, actually, there is a 1 or a 2 on a D6. There is another exit. This is like a shaft. It's either in the floor or it's in the ceiling. There isn't. So it just happens to be that there is clear. But you can see how the possibilities can be. We can make little connections. In this case, it hasn't really worked out. That is the case. But we do have the exciting prospect that we have treasure. And we are on treasure, and it's also per level. So we can roll on this table, and it's unguarded. So we could really do with a really high roll on this and get something of note that we can take back to Ravenshold and use as a loot and pay off all that debt that we've got. So let's see what we're going to get. We get an 83. Okay, so an 83 is right. Well, this is good. That's 100 platinum pieces per level. So we are on level 2. That is 200 platinum pieces. Great. So we've got 200 platinum pieces. So we've got to check first. The treasure is contained in, and we'll do a D20. So we've got all these ashes on the floor. They're not in an urn. They're just strewn all over the place. That seems strange. Clear air. They are in stone containers. So we've got stone containers. And is it guarded? And the way I do this is that I say that I roll a D20, and per level I increase it by 1. So because this is level 2, I'll say a 1 or a 2 on a D20. It is guarded. Nope. And is treasure hidden in or by? Let's see if it's hidden. Again, that's a 1 or a 2 on a D20. No. So it is, it's basically sitting there on the floor. This stone container, and Thingo goes, well, look at this green face. You maybe want to do a quick check, make sure that it's not trapped. And Greenface does the business on it. He does an overall look over whether there's any hairline fractures or contact poison or any little needles and things. And he says, I can see a glint inside, and both of their eyes are starting to glint. They see the little dollar signs appear in their eyes. 200 platinum pieces. And platinum pieces, based on my player handbook and the translation currency rates that we get. Where is my player's handbook? I think it's is it 1 to 10? That could be almost 2,000 gold pieces. So we could be in the money when it comes to this one. We've actually paid off our debts, and we have a platinum piece. Oh no, it's five gold pieces. We built our hopes up. So that's still 1,000 gold pieces. That equals 1,000 gold pieces, which is also experience as well. So 1,000. and it's very transportable. We can carry that in one of our little sacks. So we empty the stone container into one of our sacks, and we continue with our investigation. We realize that this one's locked, so we're not really going to go for that just now. We will attempt to go, I think, as our priority, let's say 1 to 5 on a d6. We will go this direction to the east, to the west. Let's see if we follow. So we do. We are quite vehement in that. We are going to try this door. We will give it a bit of a shoulder charge with our 2 characters. Let's see if we can get through without making any noise. We don't. We don't. We give it another bash. We don't. So if we try to do this again, I'm going to say that we have a risk of a wandering monster coming. So let's give it another bash. We don't. Maybe this is a really quite seized up door. It's maybe there's too much of this ash maybe stuck in the grooves, and it's really absolutely seized up. But it's caused us 3 times we have failed. So I said that I'll do a wandering monster check. I'm going to have to do it a 1 in 10. It's an 8, so no, we don't. So we'll do one more, and this will be basically the doors will open after maximum of 4, I would say. So it's so bad. I think that warrants another attempt and another wandering monster check. So it's almost like this is inevitable. You know, they really aren't not doing too well. And Thingle's saying, "Are we just completely run out of puff, Greenface? You know, maybe we've been at this game for too long. Maybe we should just get a nice domain somewhere and retire on our 200 platinum pieces." Well, at least Thingle gets it this time. So we do get that door open. However, we have to roll on the wandering monster table. So a 1 in 10. There is no wandering monster. So after all that, I can say that we have wrested 200 platinum pieces from there. We've got this door open. We've taken a bit of time to do it. If I look at my timekeeping thing, I'm going to say that it's probably taken us, to map that as well, that's going to take us, it's about a quarter of a turn, so and maybe just a few attempts. So let's say that in total we've gone up to about five rounds, so half a turn to do all that. Let's find out what is beyond the door, and we get the chance to roll. And I think looking at the time, I've been going on for quite some time. I've almost been hanging on to see whether we can get something of interest. But if we don't get anything this time, I'm going to almost call it a day. So let's just move our little avatars out the way and find out what is beyond this door. And then after that, we'll call it a day. So we get a 16, and a 16 beyond the space beyond the door is, oh, it's a room. Okay, so there is a room beyond this door. Let's find out what the room is. The room is rectangular, 30 by 40. So is it 30 wide, or is it 1 to 3? It's 30 wide. No, it's 40 wide. And is it going to? Let's do it that it doesn't clash with this map here. So I'll just make a bit of a ruling that it goes 40 in that direction down there. So 30 out here and 40 in this direction, and 40 this direction. So a big room for us. Does it have any exits? We're going to have, and obviously if it has any occupants, they have been sitting there basically twiddling their thumbs waiting for our characters to come through, because we've made an absolute hell of a noise. It really has almost like waking the devils in hell up. It has been absolutely ridiculous, the expedition that we've put ourselves through. What is on the exit side? We got 2, which is over. So there are 2 exits. So let's find out where the exit locations are. And the first one, 17, is the right wall. So it's going to be here, here, or here. So let's say it's here. There's a door here. And the next one, the remaining exit that we have to determine is a 5. And a 5 is opposite wall. So we can do our D4 for that, starting from the bottom, top. So up here, there's a door. Okay, so we've got 2 exits. We've got a 30 by 40 room. What is inside? What has been drumming its fingers or waiting for us to come through? Completely prepared, or is it empty? We will roll. It's gone off camera, but it is, unfortunately, it is a 2 that we have. So that is an empty room. I'm just going to check whether it's got some atmosphere and some. So we'll have the atmosphere will be on a 1 to 3 on our. Where is my? Yeah, 1 to 3. We have atmosphere. So we don't have atmosphere. Do we have any dressing? 1 to. No. So it's a completely empty room. So I'm just going to stop it there. I'm going to say, well, the characters, they're going to spend the first turn of their second hour, the first turn of their second hour, continuing to map this room and getting their bearings and preparing themselves for the next episode. And when you think about it, what we really want to do is to try to break this circuit that we have got in, this closed loop, and get back to any of these particular passages, because we know that that is a way out. We do have, I suppose, the commensurate, the amazing mapping skills of our characters who have been used to this type of dungeon expedition before, and they have been able to triangulate because of Greenface's ability to determine where his spatial awareness underground. We've got an accurate map of where we are. So we know that if we hit one of these corridors, we will probably discover a secret door. And that's the way I'm going to determine this, that if any of our, say we continue with passages, if they hit any of these, we will probably come out with a secret door. And we can come through and we can get in and get liberated. But we are currently in this closed loop just now. Hopefully we will be able to get... it'd be quite interesting to see what our meanderings are and whether we get to our point. Okay, well, unfortunately, that was another episode where we really didn't have anything too much to note. However, maybe I should deploy. This is what I should be doing. I should deploy my my rule that says that if this happens, we should roll on this table. So let us. Now this is the organic monster emergence table. So as a recap, I will use when several empty rooms occur or exploration feels static, we can roll 1d12 on this table and interpret why and where it happens. Am I tempted to do that? Am I wanting to leave it on a cliffhanger? I think the fairest way to do this would be maybe to put it to the dice and say, I'm not just going to decide on this, I'm going to put it to the dice, and I'm going to say it's probably a third of a chance. So if it's a 1 or a 2 on a d6, I will employ this table. And my conscience will feel clear that I have not just inserted it based on a whim. It's actually been based on some random determination and a bit of logic. So a 1 or a 2, I will roll my d12 and see what happens. So no, we don't. So it is going to end with our characters in this room with the view that they continue with their adventure next time and see whether they can strike into one of these passages or this room, etc., etc. Reconnoiter these areas where the gnolls were and this trap and the smell, the earth smell that we were detecting, and see whether we can literally follow our noses. But we really have to get out of this closed loop first. You know, this is a bit of an issue. We have been slightly lucky that we found this room with all this treasure in it. At least we've got enough now that if we leave this dungeon right this red hot second, we do have enough to clear our debts with the accumulated gold that we already had. But we're basically still, you know, we've only got about another, you know, we haven't got enough for another month. But we have for 1 month. But we really want to get that major haul. We also want a bit of an action as well. I'm sure that will come in the next expedition. Okay, well, even though that was what it is, I still enjoyed that, and I still enjoy all my Appendix A, whatever the result, because it's still exploring, and we're still finding out things. It's still interesting to go through these dungeons. You know, it's such a great rule system, the AD&D First Edition. And it is a joy to play it. And you know, even it's almost like a year that I've been running this channel now, and I'm still really enjoying the AD&D. I still, you know, basically I'm still on the surface with the rules. I think it must be something about getting older that you've less propensity to be able to absorb rules and whatever. And I'm still struggling, but that's just the way it is. I think that comes with the territory. Hopefully, then, you know, and in some ways that helps too, because, you know, in a kind of funny way, it clouds you. It almost seems things are very fresh every time you come to it, and I have to almost like relearn experiences, almost like the first dungeon adventures. Okay, well, our two characters, Thingol and Greenface, are going to bid you adieu. They are in this little room. They are preparing themselves, which door they want to attempt. Let's see how they get on next time. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to you joining me next time.